I'm talking dark academia films. I've talked about dark academia books, I've talked about activities, decor, brooms, outfits, essentials, you know, all of that stuff, but I haven't touched on movies for some reason, so I figured this was the perfect time to do that, because I have quite the list of DA films that aren't just about murder. In order for a movie to be dark academia, it has to check off at least 2 of the things on my specific list. And this is a list I made. This is just something that I go by. So there has to be a school setting, a tight-knit friend group, something educational. They have to be passionate or obsessive about something. There has to be murder, or there has to be a lot of secrets. That is my list. When it came to all of these films I'm about to mention, they check off all or a few things on that list. There will never just be one thing and I'll add it to the list. No, there has to be at least 2. Okay, so now that you know how I categorize these, let's start with the first one. And the first one is going to be the most similar to The Secret History, and that is The Riot Club. Not only is this an amazing film, and it has the best cast. I couldn't ask for a better cast. It's the most similar to The Secret History. This is what it's about. 2 first-year students at Oxford University join a secret society to learn that their reputations can be made or destroyed over a course of one evening. So in this, you get the school setting, you get that elite group of friends, those pretentious college students, you get education, you get people that are very passionate or obsessive, and you also get murder and lots of secrets. Not to mention any movie that takes place at Oxford or Cambridge, I have to watch because I just love that type of architecture, and I love a film that takes place in that setting. It is just so fitting to DA. I love it. The next film that I feel is very similar to The Secret History is Kill Your Darlings. I know this is a common one that's mentioned often, but it's mentioned often for a reason. So this is actually based off of a true story, believe it or not. And you read something like The Secret History and you're like, oh, that could never happen. It could. In 1944, young Allen Ginsberg ends up becoming friends with his classmate Lucien Carr. When their professor is found dead, Carr, William, and his other friends are all arrested for murder. So in this film, you get to see Allen and Lucien's friendship form, and they are both so very intellectual and so in love with words and writing that you get to experience their obsession with them. And I loved it. The way that they filmed this, the way that the sets looked, it just looked incredible. Like I truly felt I was experiencing it, and I couldn't recommend this film more. It is just everything that you would want from a dark academia film. The next movie is Like Minds, and this really reminded me of If We Were Villains, because you know how in the book it starts out with him being in prison for 10 years and coming clean about what actually happened because he was charged for murder. Yeah, it's very similar. This is about Alex, a privileged and intelligent 17-year-old boy who is charged with murdering his roommate, Nigel. The police bring in Sally, a forensic psychologist, to question him, and she discovers a bizarre world of secrets, mind games, and an obsession with the Templar Knights. You've got everything here that you would want from a dark academia film. You truly get to see obsession take a whole new form, and it just checks off all the boxes when it comes to dark academia movies. The next movie is The Skulls. So the plot of this film is based upon the conspiracy theories surrounding Yale University's Skull and Bones Society. So if you didn't know that was a possible thing, it is. This movie is meant to portray how those elite secret societies actually do function in the real world. So if that's not intriguing enough, I don't know what to tell you. It just takes secret societies to a whole other level, and it gets very dark. And in this film, you get to see someone join the secret society and a murder take place and how they end up covering it up. Next, we have The Oxford Murders. A lot of these movies take place at Oxford or Cambridge. I don't know why. So this movie is about an American student, Martin, who transfers to Oxford University in hopes of persuading renowned philosopher Arthur to oversee his thesis. But the murder of Martin's landlady plunges the pair into a mathematical mystery. The reason I really liked this film in particular is because not only do you have the amazing school setting, the education, the obsession with math, you also get to see someone in that lifestyle not act like they're in that lifestyle. Like, he is dressed very much normal throughout the film. He just looks like a normal person going to Oxford University today, which I kind of enjoyed that take on it while still giving it the murder mystery side as well. The next movie is The Dreamers, and this one takes place in Paris. So we got a little bit different atmosphere here, but the reason I loved this film is because it reminds me of Charles and Camilla so much. If they had their own film, this would be it. An American exchange student named Matthew ends up becoming friends with two twins who bond over their mutual love of cinema. When the twins' parents go away for a month, they ask Matthew to stay with them, and they end up losing themselves in love and fantasy. If you've read The Secret History, you'll know that Camilla and Charles are very much almost together, and then you realize they're related, and that's exactly how this film goes down. Matthew doesn't even know. It's very interesting to see that unfold, and then to see what happens after he finds out. It's just, it adds a whole other level of weird, and you don't technically have the educational side of things here. You do have the love for something, which is cinema. You also have the tight-knit friend group that makes you feel uncomfortable. And you also have lots of secrets, you know? I just had to put it on the list because it's Charles and Camilla if they had a movie. The next movie is Brideshead Revisited, and this is based off of the book, if you have not read the book. This really reminds me of the book, The Bellwether Revivals. If you've read that one and you haven't read this and you're like wondering what this is about. Befriended by aristocrat Sebastian, Oxford student Charles finds that the power and privilege experienced by the family is seductive. On a visit to Brideshead, the ancestral home, he falls in love with his sister, Julia. However, as Charles' ties to Sebastian and his family deepen, he finds himself at odds with their strong Roman Catholicism. So I think that this film is actually very much based in religion, as is the book as well, but it has all of the elements of dark academia with that old money group of people, the very close friend group, but also lots of secrets because he's sleeping with his friend's sister. I thought this one was really good. It's also a great cast, and it just reminds me of the Bellwether Revivals. I don't know why. The next movie is Cruel Intentions, and I actually thought to put this on the list last minute because I didn't realize that it definitely feels dark academia. So this movie is about two wealthy siblings. They are stepbrother and stepsister, and they make a bet to see if he can sleep with the new girl. There's more to it than what I'm saying. They not only are siblings, but they are also with each other, and it's very much a Camilla and Charles situation that you see unfolding. You get the school setting, you get lots of secrets, you get these prestigious group of kids, and you also get death. The next movie is School Ties. When David receives a football scholarship to a prestigious prep school in the 1950s, he feels pressure to hide the fact that he is a Jewish boy from his classmates and teachers, fearing that they may be anti-Semitic. He quickly becomes a big man on campus thanks to his football skills, but when his Jewish background is discovered, his worst fears are realized, and his friends turn on him with violent threats and public ridicule. And because it's an older film, this was filmed back in 1992, it adds this whole other feel to it just watching it, and it fits everything that you would want in a DA movie: the school setting, the education, the friend group, the lots of secrets. What is the next movie? Okay, the next movie is based off of a book, and that is Dorian Gray, and it's based off of the book The Picture of Dorian Gray. So this movie is about a man named Dorian Gray who befriends an artist, and the artist ends up painting him in his young form, and Dorian Gray pledges that he would give anything to stay looking that pretty for the rest of his life, even if it meant selling his soul. This book alone is already DA. It already like checks off all the dark academia elements for me, but also we've got Ben Barnes playing Dorian, and you just couldn't ask for a better Dorian, in my opinion. After seeing him in Shadow and Bone and Chronicles of Narnia, I'm just in love. I'm so in love. The next movie is The Dead Poets Society, and this is a common one you probably already know and you probably heard. So this movie is really about the English teacher and his students and his unorthodox teaching methods and how he introduces them to learning in a new way. And while he is at this school, he ends up introducing them to something he used to be a part of called the Dead Poets Society. And this is just when a bunch of kids get together and they read and recite poetry. So they decide to start the club back up. They will all go into the forest and they'll choose a piece of poetry that they want to read or something that they wrote, and they will just stand up and recite it to each other, and it's really beautiful. There is death in this film. That is when it gets a little dark, but I feel like the whole school setting, the elite group of students doing something that's secretive, reciting something that they are passionate about, that fits the dark academia aesthetic really well. The next one is also very well known, and that's Harry Potter. I mean, I have to put it on the list. It has the fantasy aspect, I know, but it's so DA. Regardless, it's DA. It is. When it comes to decorating dark academia, the easiest way to tell someone to decorate is say, look at a Harry Potter film and do that, you know? So I had to put this one on the list as well. Okay, I feel like I've been talking so much that I'm getting tongue-tied now, and I think it's time to stop the video. That's it for all my movies. Thanks for watching. As always, feel free to recommend any other films that you feel fit the DA aesthetic below. Share it with everyone here, because we're here to find some good movies. I'm really interested in finding like more. And that's it. That's it for all of my DA films. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay. Bye.